Hello, everybody. I am one of the very few lucky people who are able to get their hands on a brand new PS5 build of Nioh 3. And in this video, I'm going to aim to show you what has changed between the alpha demo that we all had access to and this build, as well as covering the weapons that I've seen and exploring this brand new area. Now, I will also have a live stream today, the day that this video goes up, where I'll show off some more gameplay and answer any questions that you guys have. If you missed the stream, you can always find it in the live section of my YouTube channel, so check that out if you're interested. Anyway, Nioh 3 is my Game of the Year 2026. Just look at this.
You even keep fun company. My mind's set. Let me throw my lot in with you.
But, sorry, I just really loved that cutscene so much. It filled me with great, immense joy. It was like coming home. I am home in my favorite home ever, and that is the home of Nioh. Anyway, first thing that I want to touch on is what does this build feel like compared to the alpha demo of Nioh 3? And I can say that this build feels better across the board. First thing that was really noticeable is that the burst break, which is when you use R2 to switch forms when an enemy is doing a red attack to counter them, felt much more responsive and fluid, making it much easier to be consistent. And by easier, I want to be clear that I don't mean that this makes the game easier. I mean that the overall feel of burst break is so much more snappy that it makes you feel more in control of when you hit those burst breaks. And when you miss them, you know that it's your fault and you're not like, really? That feels kind of weird. It just feels better. Deflecting also feels snappier and more consistent. Just across the board, combat is snappier and more fluid. There's no jank or clunkiness anywhere to be found. It's just they took a pass of the game and was like, make combat and everything feel better. There you go. That's the build that I played. A big change for me that feels significantly improved is using the summoning seals. In this build, you can move fairly quickly whilst the animation happens for summoning. This makes them feel much more reasonable to make use of in the heat of battle than the alpha demo. In the alpha demo, when I was using these summons, it kind of felt like I was stuck using them. And it was significantly harder to find that opening window of when I actually want to summon them. So this just felt better. It just felt better across the board. My weapons feel better, my pairing feels better, my burst break feels better, and summoning actually feels like a thing that I can really delve into and make good use of in the heat of battle, which is awesome. I also want to touch on performance since the alpha demo, and that has also drastically improved. I had some minor pop-in happen here and there when playing, but my frames were consistent with no stuttering or any other concerns. Definitely improved from the alpha demo, and now we just have to hope that the PC version is as good as this PS5 version, please God. Now let's get into the weapons that I had available to use in this build. The samurai could use dual swords, axe, spears, odachi, and cestus. I think you say it's cestus, but it's typed cestises. I don't know, correct me. Ninja had access to sword, dual swords, kusarigama, tonfa, hatchets, and claws. And yes, to all of my hatchet fans out there, Advancing Storm is back. And yes, I started doing it immediately. The weapons that samurai and ninja share are swords, dual swords, and fist-type weapons, although they do end up playing quite differently because the samurai has access to various stances with the weapons, and the ninja has access to just faster moves as well as more aerial combos. On the subject of stances, the system feels just as deep as Nioh 2 when selecting the moves you want and which stance you want those moves to be on. I found myself naturally switching between the stances to access the moves that I wanted from each one, so I was really happy to see that stances don't feel like they've been dumbed down and they remain fun to build out. Because that was one of my concerns is when you separate the weapons into these two different forms and the ninja can use these and the samurai can use these, but only the samurai has stances. I was really concerned that we were going to just make things more simple. And stances do not feel like that. Stances feel like they do in Nioh 2. It's just you're using them on a samurai, and then when you're using the ninja, you don't have them. The ninja has access to ninjutsu instead of stances, and ninjutsu comes back over time. You can also refill it while you're in samurai form, so both of these felt really good. The weapons I spent the most amount of time with in this demo were the cestus, which are the fist weapons but for samurai, who, side note, have some pretty awesome poses based on what stance you're in. Spear on samurai I also used a lot, and axe on samurai. For ninja, I spent the most amount of time with hatchets. I can't even lie to you. But I did spend time with all of the weapons. It's just these are the weapons I spent the most amount of time with. Because let me tell you, when you have 3 hours to play Nioh 3 and you have 1,700 menus to go through and all of these weapons unlocked, I really wanted to read what martial arts we had unlocked, how I can use it, the different stances. I wanted to read through it and really make use of the weapon, and that is very hard to do with this amount of weapons, but I did my best. Every weapon I tried legitimately had me saying, okay, this is the one that I'm gonna invest in. They all feel so good. And now with the addition of jumping in Nioh 3, every single weapon has aerial martial arts, which feel incredibly cool. I was using the hatchets, the dual hatchets, and I was doing advancing storm, and then I was jumping in the air and doing like what honestly looks like a Ninja Gaiden move, the enemy. And I cannot wait to have this in my hands at home so I can use my paddles on my controller. It's gonna be amazing. I was really happy to see the amount of weapons we had access to in this demo. All of my favorites are here and they have everything I want in them, plus more, and they all feel great. After experimenting with so many weapons between samurai and ninja, am I sold on the concept of switching between them? Personally, I definitely am. They offer quite unique playstyles that play really well into each other. Samurai has the stances, they can also deflect. Ninja has the ninjutsu. They're also much better in the air. They have more access to more aerial combos, and they also have perfect dodging. So it's just two different playstyles. And the way that they feed into each other really well, and why I found myself switching between them pretty often, is that you can build up the samurai arts gauge whilst in ninja form, and you can also regen your ninjutsu in samurai form. And the best thing is that you can buy into this system as much or as little as you want. Team Ninja doesn't want to force you to use either form, so you technically can just stick to one form the entire game if you want to, or you can mostly stay in ninja form and then switch to samurai form to use up your arts gauge and switch right back. However you want to use the system is totally up to you, but boy does it feel cool as hell when you're switching between forms, mixing up the weapons, the combos, the styles. You switch to samurai, you pull off a parry, you do your little arts gauge thingy, then you switch to ninja and you do a little backflip and you're throwing stuff at them. It just feels really cool to mix them together, but I don't want any of you to think that you have to. If there is a weapon that you really like that is only on ninja, like the tonfas for example, and you just want to use that the entire game, you can, if you want to. It's totally up to you. Now, sticking with combat, I just want to touch on Onmyo magic a little bit, because I know there are a lot of Onmyo magicians out there. In Nioh 3, the system that we have for this involves using our Onmyo box to separate soul cores into the yang position and the yin position. For the yang position, this gives you the ability to summon the soul so they can come out and before a move and then leave. If you have them set to the yin position, that gives you Onmyo magic that you can use. So you go out, you hunt yokai, you get their souls, and then you can learn spells from those souls or use them as summons. I am really, really sad to say that I didn't spend enough time with my small amount of Nioh 3 time to try and make an Onmyo magic build work. But I do personally like this system. I like the idea of going out there and hunting yokai and getting spells from them. I never bought into the Onmyo magic build super hard. So I hope that someone who was at this event really tried to get that information for you guys, because I know a lot of you really do like being spellcasters, and I hope that it is still possible for you to do that. but I just wanted to let you know that the system remains the same. You do have quite a lot of slots for magic, and I can totally foresee us getting like different Onmyo boxes that have different stuff in it, but from what I saw, it is the same system. We just have 4 slots in the demo. So that would give us 4 total spells that we could make use of. But that's all the information I have for you. I just wanted to give you something. I don't know if that was helpful. Next, I want to talk about exploration in Nioh 3. We did get to experience the open zone nature of Nioh 3 in the alpha demo, but even then, I came away not being totally sure if I liked this direction for the game. As much as people meme on Team Ninja for their level design, I actually really appreciate the more linear, mission-based structure of the Nioh games. But after playing this build and exploring a new area, I am totally sold on Nioh 3 having open zones. First of all, I do want to clarify it is not open world like what you experienced in Rise of Ronin. It's not open world. It's definitely open zones. So it's not linear, it's not open, it's somewhere in the middle, which is open zones. The exploration of this zone that I was able to experience felt incredibly rewarding and fun. There's so many hidden chests and pathways. You could even find our good friend Nurikabe, who is back. And not to mention the camps that you can clear out for big loot rewards, the field bosses, and then of course you have the Crucible, where you're locked into this other realm with things that really want to beat your ass. And whenever you get hit, your max health lowers. The area we got to explore as well felt a bit more contained than the open field we had access to in the Nioh 3 demo. Yes, it's open zone with lots of pathways to take, but those pathways themselves feel more similar to Nioh 2. So it was really nice to experience this new take on level design in a city rather than an open field. I can already tell you that I'm gonna spend hundreds of hours just in base Nioh 3, exploring everything, getting all the Kodama, defeating all the camps, clearing the Crucible. So if you're an open zone skeptic like I was, I hope this makes you more of a believer, because I genuinely had so much fun exploring. Like, I wanted to experience all of the fights, all of the bosses, all of the enemy types, but I feel like I know that that's good in Nioh. Like, Nioh 3 is definitely Nioh. You have similar enemies that you've seen. Of course, there's new ones as well. But if you have played Nioh 1 and Nioh 2, you know what a Nioh game feels like. And Nioh 3 feels absolutely phenomenal. But what Nioh 3 is doing that is very different, besides the form switching, which is different, but I think the bigger thing is the open zones. So I wanted to really experience what open zones felt like in this new area. Because like I said, I wasn't totally sold, but I did really, really, really enjoy exploring in Nioh 3. I think they've done a really fantastic job of making every nook and cranny that you explore feel super worth it. So become a believer like I am. Finally, I want to show you guys a little bit of character creator for Nioh 3, because in the alpha demo, this was extremely limited, and for all of my character customization fiends, I heard some murmurs of concern about the freedom to create characters. So I am happy to tell you that Nioh 3 has the character creation that you expect from Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo games in general. You can change every little thing on your character. You can change each section of the hair separately from each other, which I didn't care about until I got bangs. And then I got bangs and realized, wow, I am super limited on hairstyles if I have to just pick an overall hairstyle. But with Nioh and just all of Team Ninja's games, this is never an issue, because I can pick like pigtails, I can have straight hair, long hair, short hair. I can have whatever I want in the back. And I can fully customize the front to be whatever I want. I need more games to do this. You can also customize the color of the hair, the different pieces of the color of the hair. It's super, super detailed, exactly what you would expect. You have the tattoos and markings that you would expect, where you can change their size and location. It's super limited. And then also, due to Nioh 3 having samurai and ninja that you can switch between, you can actually make 2 different characters if you want to. So if you want to make a character that looks more ninja-ish and more samurai-ish, you can do that. Or you can just select a little box that says use the same appearance for both. But it's great to have the option. The option is there for you to go crazy. Now that is the end of this video. As I said in the beginning, we will be having a stream showing more gameplay and answering your questions, so stop by or watch the VOD if that interests you. Thank you so much to Team Ninja for inviting me. This was honestly a dream come true. Nioh 2 is my favorite game, and Nioh 3 is just looking absolutely phenomenal. Like, I cannot describe to you guys. I was sitting there and I was playing. I was about an hour in, I think, after looking through menus and figuring out what the hell is going on. And I was like, oh my gosh. I had this overwhelming feeling of, I'm home. I'm home and it's glorious. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, stop by the stream, ask me questions. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you. Goodbye.